Hi, Berker here, and I'm going to show you customizing the asset, like changing the vehicle mesh, and then some basic settings for the vehicle interaction. So let's get started. To replace the skeletal mesh of the asset, you'll need another asset with an armature. So here I have a skeletal mesh, all the vertices weighted to the bones. Here you can check, go to pose mode and select a bone. And if you translate the bone in pose mode, you will see all the vertices move according to the bone. In this case, according to the FLV of bone. So I'm going to export all the stuff here. And before you export it, check the location, rotation, and scales are applied. And go to export. Find your export FAX. And then go to main, select the selected objects, check the selected objects, and our forward axis is X and up axis is Z. So we only need armature and mesh. Go to geometry tab and set smoothing as face. So in the armature tab you will see select the add leaf bones, and we don't need an animation yet. So select the baked animation and hit export FBX. Okay, now I'm going to import the FBX file into the Unreal Engine. Back to Unreal Engine, open your project. And to import your new vehicle mesh, click import button here and find your new vehicle mesh file, FBX file. Hit open. In the FBX import options, I'm going to set the skeleton to none, and I don't need textures and materials. So select don't create material and uncheck the import textures. Hit import button. Now we have a skeletal mesh, a physics asset, and a skeleton. Open your physics asset, and I'm going to delete all the bodies here and then add sphere and box. Ctrl A and delete. Choose your wheels and right click, add bodies, and add sphere, right click, and select all the wheels and change the physics type to kinematic. I'm also going to add a box to the root, so hit add replace bodies and add a box. I'm going to delete all the capsule bodies. Now we have wheel bodies and root body. So choose all the sphere bodies and go to primitives, and I'm going to set the radius, for example 50. And now for the left side I should bring the bodies to the wheel. So select left bodies and In y-axis, I'm going to type 50, minus 50, okay. And for the right side, I'm going to type 15. And modify the box. Simply change the x extent to 500 or maybe 600, and in y-axis type 100, 300, okay. Make it a little bit smaller and rotate it a little bit. Okay, it's done. And save and close it. Now I'm going to create a new animation blueprint for the new skeletal mesh. So right click, go to animation and click animation blueprint. In the animation blueprint settings, select vehicle enemy instance and you will find here our new skeleton and click OK. Open it up, and now I'm going to create some variables like steering as float and car height and the entering triggers. They are bools, car entering for the driver, car exiting driver, car entering passenger, car exiting passenger. Compile and save it. And open your old animation blueprint. Go to event graph and copy all the nodes here and paste it in the new animation blueprint. Hook it up and delete. Click compile. And I'm going to copy also the nodes for the anim graph. Go to anim graph all the of the old animation blueprint and copy all the nodes here. Okay. And hit compile. We don't have an animation yet, so delete them in the driver exiting and driver entering states, and do the same thing for the passenger entering and passenger exiting. Hit compile and save it. The next step is editing the animations of the vehicle and third person character. So to do this, open an entering animation of the vehicle, and here export asset, and you will find here animation data. So I'm going to export it as FBX, hit export button, and do the same thing for the third person character. So here find the entering animation and then click export animation data and save it. Export. So I'm going to import these animations in the Blender and then I'm going to edit them. Open a new Blender project and delete all the default objects here. Before I import the vehicle and third person character animations, I'm going to set the unit presets for the Unreal Engine, set metric for length and change the unit scale to 0.01 and then clipping endpoint, make it something bit bigger. Now we can import it. Go to import FBX and find your animation. Do the same thing for the third person character. Select your third person character animation file and then hit import button. So now this vehicle mesh has a root skeleton, but it's not visible yet. To make the bones a little bit bigger, go to root bone and select FL view and here go to edit mode and then I have already selected, so hit set button and make it a little bit bigger, something like this. Okay, and do the same thing for all bones and the root bone. So select RL view, hit set, make it bigger. Okay, now it's done. And lastly, okay, we have 100 frames in the scene. So type here 100 and bring a new window and make it dope sheet. So change dope sheet here to action editor. Under the root bone, you will find some location rotation and scale keyframes without bones. So delete them. Okay, now go to object mode. We can now edit our location and rotation of the root object. So type here -90 and bring the vehicle something like here. If you play, you will see they play together. So the best point you can find when the character reaches the door right here, and then I bring the door handle to the hand of the third person character like this. So play. Now it's done. Now import your new vehicle mesh which you already imported into the Unreal Engine. So go to File, Import, FBX, and you will find your vehicle mesh here. Import it. So rotate this and bring it to the hand of the character. In the side view, you can see the bottom of the vehicle, and here's a good position. Okay,